I'm about 40 hours into Starfield now, and wow, what a pleasure it is to play essentially a modern version of Skyrim. A science fiction version of the game I've replayed countless times, modded countless times, and enjoyed across many years through various different characters and playstyles. There's a very loud minority out there expressing their dissatisfaction with Starfield, highlighting mostly how the game did not live up to their expectations for various reasons. Some of the biggest concerns are related to the amount of loading screens, the lack of seamless travel, fake planets, the spaceship gameplay, and the clunky, old-school feeling of the game in general. You see, I think it all comes down to having the right expectations. Personally, I expected Skyrim. Skyrim in a science fiction setting. Skyrim with higher fidelity models, higher resolution textures, and better lighting. Most importantly, I expected the same engine limitations and clunkiness of Skyrim and its predecessors. For me, this was always going to be a typical Bethesda game, relying on the same engine and the same technology. Now, if you're listening to this thinking I'm full of shit, I'm not saying you're wrong. Whatever your expectations and feelings, they are entirely valid. I'm 35 years old. I think there is a younger generation out there now that doesn't really carry these same feelings with them. The experiences of playing Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. They're playing games like Star Citizen. They're used to games that deliver seamless gameplay without loading screens, where pilots can walk into a ship and fly it down to a planet uninterrupted, along with many other modern standards. I will add that before getting to enjoy the game, I've had to restart the game about 3 or 4 times with I&I changes and mods installed just to ensure everything was running properly. And that's a rough one, especially for people that aren't technology savvy. They risk missing out on a lot of fun or working and playing the game with unnecessary bugs. I might do a video separately covering all the tweaks I'm running to make sure Starfield runs properly on my PC. With all of that out of the way then, and our expectations set, personally, I'm very much impressed by how much Bethesda has managed to deliver with Starfield. It's left me feelings of awe, feelings of immersion, feelings of epic post-battle hype, and a desire to keep coming back to play more every single day. I'm loving everything from the gunplay to the planets, the spaceships, the space stations, the random outposts, the spaceship building, weapon modifications, outpost building, flora, fauna, spelunking. It's a lot. Every time I do something, I end up surprised with something special waiting around the corner. A quest, a totally random combat encounter, an awesome looking outpost filled to the brim with loot. Or just the fact that every time I'm ready to depart, I manually walk back into my ship, feel right at home, before getting back into the pilot seat and watching an awesome cinematic of my ship taking off with a real weighty feel, powerful VTOL engines firing and all. So, lots of people are talking about the planets and how they are cut up into individually procedurally generated cells. Personally, I really like this approach. I've never run into any borders because the chunks are huge, and where I am someone who loved playing Elite Dangerous for seeing what the Stellar Forge would spit out for a new planet each time, I get the exact same satisfaction from this system in Starfield. I love coming down to a planet and exploring the unique features of the terrain, checking how much gravity there is as I boost pack jump around and observe the hunter fauna chasing herder fauna before scavenger fauna sets in to clean up. I love going around with the scanner and scanning them all, completing scans for everything on the planet, and mining some minerals left and right. I love going into caves or outposts and combating NPCs through exciting dynamic battles, clearing the place out just like I do in Skyrim, and looting everything valuable before mic dropping out of there. Another pleasant surprise for me was finding out that when you're on these planets, most of the buildings you find aren't actually something you have to load into, contrary to what a lot of people are saying right now. You just walk through an airlock and find yourself inside, but the building is in the same world as the planet itself, so it doesn't require any loading screens. I really like this. Now, with Starfield, I expected spaceship combat similar to games like Freelancer, totally arcade. And in that regard, again, Starfield really surprised me. Beyond the basics of flight being really simple and just fun to begin with, the fact that one can put perks into enabling 6-DoF maneuvering thrusters that enable drifting around your enemies is super awesome and a great way to make you feel powerful and in control. The fact then that I can customize my ship to look exactly how I like is absolutely awesome. And then there's this. I'm docking up with a space station and notice that there is no gravity. I didn't know that the game did this, but as I'm EVAing my way around the place, it turns out there are enemies. I engage them, and surprise, get thrown to the back of the room because of my gun's recoil, and I end up in yet another awesome encounter. I wasn't expecting anything and was treated to a really cinematic, awesome battle. I realized then that I am literally living the Expanse. I'm literally flying around in my Rocinante with my companion family, getting in all sorts of scraps in orbit, in space stations, on the surface of a planet, or down in a cave. This was quite unexpected for me and feels really wholesome.
Whatever might be happening, I'll be right here to help you every step of the way.
When we're flying in space, I can even disable a ship's engines, dock up with it, and kill the crew on board by shooting them or lobbing a grenade right into their face in 0G before stealing their ship.
Let's see if they've got anything worth taking.
One or two fade to black transitions as the game loads the next environment isn't going to ruin that for me. Another thing I really like is the armor and general apparel in this game. I'm having a lot of fun with the different types of armor and dressing my guy to look the way I like. I've been experimenting with the photo mode too, which is quite fun, and I was pleasantly surprised to learn that the loading screens actually display the images you've taken. It actually turns the loading screens into something fun for me, honestly. It's a brief moment where you're reminded of an exciting adventure you had, or proud moment of your brand new spaceship. Talking about loading screens, let's discuss fast travel. Again, there is a loud minority complaining about the immersion-breaking fact that you can fast travel straight from one planet to the doorstep of your base on another. The truth is, this has always been possible in Bethesda games. Take Skyrim, you could travel from anywhere directly to the inners of a city, so long as you have explored it previously. Now, while I'm not a fan of using these fast travel options, I think it's great that they're there. It gives those with little time the opportunity to skip the travel and get straight into the action. It also avoids any feeling of tedium, in the case that you're just trying to rush along a little sometimes. Bethesda is really good at this. They even give you the option to either get up from your spaceship pilot seat and walk out of your ship manually, or press another button and skip all of that, teleporting straight outside. I try to avoid fast traveling any chance I get. I do want the immersion. I do want to get into my spaceship and enjoy every moment. And I do actually prefer traveling manually by leaving orbit, jump into the other system, and landing again. But knowing that I have the option to skip a part at any time is the pleasures I expect from a Bethesda game. One thing that I find annoying right now that breaks my immersion is the fact that the game only plays the landing cinematic when you arrive at a new location for the first time. Anytime you come back after, you start standing next to your already landed ship, and it leaves me a little sad every time I look back at the ship and see it standing there with thrusters awkwardly firing the animation for a moment. I really want to enjoy the moment of landing, getting up from the seat and getting out. I see a few areas where there is still a lot of potential with Starfield. Gameplay that is absent now that would elevate this game to the next level. Opportunity for DLC I'd gladly pay for to expand the game's features over time. One of this is interplanetary travel. Instead of teleporting between planet orbits via the press of a button, I would like a flight mode that allows me to fly manually through a star system really fast, traveling from planet to planet. Like Star Citizen Quantum Travel or Elite Dangerous's Super Cruise. With the use of a console command, you can already speed up your ship to the point where it is possible to travel from planet to planet. The entire star system is actually a single map, with all the planets and functioning orbits. I would absolutely love to see this become a proper gameplay feature. And of course, as always, if Bethesda doesn't get to it, we all know a modder will.